The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
For over 50 years, Burlington's legacy has been great deals on coats for all weather conditions. So before you're caught unprepared for the winter weather, head to Burlington for name brands, quality items, and surprising fits for every family member. Stock up on coats, sweaters, and accessories before the cold hits, so you can finally stop avoiding the elements and start living comfortably. Warm up at your nearest Burlington location less than 1 mile away. Burlington. Deals, brands, wow.
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation. Thanks for joining us again for this episode. Last week you got to hear part 2 of the role the family plays in the military episode. And it was great hearing my better half tell her story. She told us about the lessons she learned from being a young spouse in the military, and also shared some advice for those coming in now. Of course, I have my hot cup of Muertos coffee fueling me today. So again, get out there and try you some Muertos coffee. We have spoke about mindset in episode 1, strength and resilience in episode 2. And now for episode 5, I have a guest, Gerard Nguedi, who saw a need based on his own experiences and started a company that is in line with his passion and his vision. The company is called Faithsmagnet. That's Faiths Magnet. Their mission statement is as follows. Our mission is to empower post-9/11 veterans and their families to help them end inner mind struggles and find balance, as well as their new mission, passions, confidence, purpose, happiness, success, and fulfillment in their new life and career in the civilian world. Seeing a need for those transitioning from the military to the civilian world, he came up with this program to help them find their vision of themselves. I know transitioning from the military is not the same for each veteran. Each veteran has different needs, encounters different challenges. I thought I had a plan, and it would be seamless as I transitioned out. Well, as we all know, plans don't always work out the way they are laid out. I wound up without a purpose for 365 days. This is where programs like this help veterans as they make that leap from boots to suits. So without further ado, let's give a great big Misfit Nation welcome to Gerard Nguedi. Let's talk about your journey and how you got from where you started when you started going to school and such, and how you wound up doing the Faithsmagnet and the MTAP as you are doing now.
Okay. Well, actually, when I was a kid, my father actually wanted me to be a priest, and he sent me to the seminary for a few years, and then they put me back under a normal schooling system, and that's essentially what triggered my transformation in a way, because I grew up confused in a way as to why exactly he wanted me to be a priest. And when he himself was in the military all of his life, and all of the family pretty much, and I was already thinking that it was essentially the path that I was also going to take, as my brother also was trying to join. And so in 2015, I essentially ended up moving to France because I'm from Cameroon, and I moved to France for my education, and then from France I did an exchange program with the University of Missouri St. Louis, and I ended up going to school for business and
Okay.
International trade, finance, and things of that nature. And that's how I ended up at the University of Missouri St. Louis and completed the second year of my MBA there. And after that, I started doing internships, and there is a company who that essentially offered to offered me a job essentially, and that's how things started making my exchange program into into a transition from from Europe to the United States essentially, and that's how over the years I became a citizen. And in 2015, I was working as a consultant at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. I worked in IT. Actually, I ended up working in technology because I just love technology. And that's how I started working in technology, even if I had an educational background in business. But I was doing more of the business part of things, right? And so that's how in 2015, I was traumatized by some of the nonsense that I also discovered. And at the same time that I was essentially going through my recovery journey using tools that I was creating myself, using a visual language that's using technology. It's called UML, Universal Modeling Language. And it's essentially a way for engineers to come up with a visual of the backend of a backend system with arrows. It's describing how data is going to flow, how modules are going to operate, and things like that. And so when I was trying to essentially recover my own mind, I was using tools that I was creating off of psychology and religions and all kinds of things. And all of these tools were essentially converting in what I call the universal truth, which is essentially, I can't even explain it in a podcast like this. I have to have my visuals for that. But yeah, I don't want to say something that everybody already heard and it's going to sound like we know that kind of thing. But the idea is that it goes much deeper when you can see things visually. You can understand things at such a deeper subconscious level. And a 3M Corporation study that came out in 2001 actually explained that it's just because of visual learning, which is 60,000 times more powerful than learning things in books. And so the things that I was learning, reading all sorts of books and just analyzing myself and things like that, essentially I converted them into UML diagrams. And that's how I started coaching people without knowing. And over time, I discovered that I have a talent in psychology, pretty much, and that the tools that I'm using, I can actually help veterans with them. And since I was going through the same things that they were going through, potentially with trauma and things like that, but also transitioning in my life, figuring out my path, finding out the things that are actually making me happy. Because even if I was successful, I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled, and you know, something was missing. And so that equation that veterans are facing when they transition is exactly the same, because not exactly the same, but the challenge that I believe veterans are facing, and as a veteran, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell me. But in the military, all of the needs of us are met through the military, even clothing, food, your career, your passions, your mission, your family, everything. Everything is handled through the military. And at the moment you transition, all of that goes away. The support system, the family, everything. And the VA is an administrative kind of body that is not designed to be mentally easy to go through. And I have veterans in emails right now that I can share with you that was sent to our to my assistant, where not really my assistant, she's a virtual assistant, but she does a lot more. And she's a veteran herself. And
Okay.
no, she's not a veteran. Her mother was a veteran. Sorry. And her husband is in the Air Force. So he was explaining that outside of all of the challenges that are already in existence, the VA itself is a challenge, and that is not something that a program can help, right? And so that's spectacular email that I think I'm going to use wherever I can to just explain how I believe veteran perceive the VA. But the idea is that when you transition, you realize that all of the ways you used to fulfill your needs now have changed. And there are needs that we are not aware that we have in life by nature. And so for someone who's been in the military for all of their life, where someone was making sure they had everything that they need, some scientist has studied all of the food that they ate every day at the military to make sure that they were strong and healthy and had all of the proteins. In your civilian life, you have to be able to do these things, right? Or at least to be aware. You cannot just replace the food that you were eating in the military with fast food, for instance, right? And so these are some of the tiny lists of things that we created in the tool called the MSY, which is Maslow, which stands for Maslow Cynic Yoga. And it's essentially a way to align all of your needs based on Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs from the way it was fulfilled. If they were fulfilled in the military, and the way you should fulfill them, or you want to fulfill them in the civilian world. So that's that first exercise that we complete in the beginning of the workshops. One of the first, not the first actually, but the idea is that, to finish up the point, I understand that I've been talking a lot also, that I was making, is that when that transition happens, it's important for someone who is transitioning to be able to refocus on how to fulfill their needs and be aware of all of them, and then figuring out their path, their purpose, their mission, being able to process the inner mind energies, right? That or thought that can be bothering you or pulling you away from that higher version of yourself, or that passion or that mission that you essentially trying to create in the civilian world. And so the idea of our program, which is essentially structured in 3 phases, is to first focus on the energy, which is the why, which is part of the MSY exercise with Maslow that I was mentioning, which is the portion where we essentially help veterans realign certain aspects of their mindsets in a way that make them more aware of some of the realities in the civilian world, and that would give them energy because not all habits are really hard to change. So when certain simple and easy things become, uh, um, when you become aware of certain things, if it's very easy to make adjustments. And so that's that energy portion where uh, um, a bunch of other things also happen. But the second phase is the purpose, is essentially areas of life and what we essentially want to do with our energy, with our lives, now that we know how to fulfill all of our needs, essentially, right? But that's a very, very basic way of putting it because it goes a lot deeper. And the last 3 weeks is the vision portion where all of the goals and the purpose that we identify now turn into something that we want to do, or a direction that we want to take, or a kind of education that we want to follow, and sort of trying to specify some of the things that we would love to learn and discover in our lives in terms of or based on each area of our lives, and turning those into images that have deep meaning, and concluding with a 360 degrees life vision plan and a vision board. And from that point on, after completing all of the exercise in the program, which are about 9 of them, um, and a bunch of other tools, which are a few dozens. After that, those 3 phases, which take 3 months, they are essentially equipped with this mental construct that essentially allows you to process negative and positive experiences in life and grow and learn as you go and find your path in a way that is scientific. We for instance, for the path, we use Myers-Briggs cognitive functions, because that's essentially how I discovered that I had a talent in psychology, because it was written somewhere, and I could test it, and I realized that I actually do have, it's actually accurate. So Myers-Briggs is something that we're using to facilitate in that as well, and make it more scientific, so that someone getting through the program would know that yes, I was actually provided with not just tools, but things that are also taught in school that people around the world know, right? So the standards that are used in all religions, in all human sciences, are essentially the same. That's why even if we do things our own way, they align with everything else. And so that's the idea.
It's a great vision. I'm sorry that you had to fall into it the way you did. Anyone that is a victim of trauma will understand that it's not the best thing that happened in your life. But for you, you took those lemons that were given to you with that trauma and turned it into something where you can help others.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your website now. It's a pretty substantial website.
Thank you.
I have your flyer here. Have you been contracted by the military to provide these courses to soldiers that are possibly getting out or anything like that?
I think that's ultimately the goal. But I've been in touch with the VA. I know a lot of people at the VA, psychologists, but nothing formal yet. And I suppose I am to make that first move, of course. But I also want to have an idea of what it is I actually want to ask or propose. But for now, the things that I've been telling them is that ultimately the goal would be for the program to be delivered to all veterans, all transitioning veterans, before they even deal with the VA, and make sure that it can be administered in a very structured way, right? So that they actually complete the exercises and dive and play and brainstorm in that process, as opposed to it being a quick thing where you just sit down and you do certain things and then everything is okay. It has to dive, and so that's the only thing that I'll be watching for. But anyways, a program like that can be implemented in the government, at the VA or the military. I'm all for it. But my preference, now that you're saying it, is actually the military itself. Before they get to the VA.
Yeah.
So
I think that's your best option because not only the Army has the SS Soldier for Life Transition Assistance Program, and that's supposed to start 6 months, 12 months before you get out.
Wow.
Some soldiers are allowed to start 2 years before they get out, which would be great with your program because you have the months that you'll have the time to actually get them through the program and make them see that vision of what their passion is really for as they take off them boots and put on the suit or put on work clothes that they want to do something even totally different than they did in the military.
Exactly.
I was a chemical operations specialist in the Army. I'm now teaching people about UAS or drones. So it's two different passions. But everyone has a passion deep within them, kind of like you found yours, not knowing it was there, but your dad actually seen it. And now you were able to take that vision, take that passion, and start this program. I would love to see you get in that door with SFL TAP or the Air Force version or the Navy version, and you're pretty close to all of them up there in Maryland.
Yeah.
It might be worth the trip down there to talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, there are insight that you probably have that I don't. So anything that you're going to tell me, I'll just take notes at this point, because there is an infinity of things that I can do to reach out to the military or reach out to the VA. But everything that I've done so far hasn't gotten the kind of traction that I was expecting. And so that's also why emailing, calling, the current COVID situation, offices being closed, there are a lot of things that are working normally right now, and so I think that's also part of the reason why the VA or anyone, not anyone, that's not true, but anyone in anything structured has been taking place, at least to invite me to say, okay, now we want to see what's in it. We want to see some of these tools and see how exactly it works essentially inside a program, because that's that first step that I was supposed to do with a veteran who is a PhD student in the University of Alabama, and we were supposed to work on something like that, but it didn't. It hasn't. It was actually supposed to be taking place now. So there is a lot of things that are in motion, and our program, as it is today, is still fairly new. It's than 2 years old, and so I think we are still, I think, in a time frame where we can or I can not necessarily consider that there is a sort of major delay in that perspective, right? So in the meantime, I continue to coach and I continue to do what I do, but I know that I can't. Even if we can scale, this is not the kind of things that that corporations should be doing. It's something that the government should be doing in a way. That's why, every way I can figure out a way to make it, to let the military create programs to help everyone getting out of the military. It would be better, I think, so that I can now create other programs for people who were incarcerated or other athletes or, all sorts of group or niche, because it's actually a system that can be tailored to any group of people, and so.
Yeah, so I think one bit, like I said, was all the branches of the military, but then you might want to also look at the nonprofits that are out there helping the military now, like a Wounded Warrior Project, Team Red, White, and Blue, Team Rubicon. There's a plethora of them out there right now, and I can send you links to all of them, and I'll try to find you POCs for as many things as I can to help you out. Try to get you moving on that upward plane to get this contact with as many veterans as possible. That way, this program actually has the chance to make that impact on these veterans before they wind up in the VA and it's too late.
That's something that'll be extremely welcome, because I may not necessarily be able to find all of the information all the time. So, and we speak with a lot of veteran organization. No Veterans Left Behind. Bryson O. Wilson, who left us a testimonial, is actually on the board of a local No Veteran Left Behind organization in Detroit. So he's an Army veteran. So we have this organization called Subvet Heroes Foundation, and it's an organization that reimburses veterans for expenses that they make towards their mental health. And we are partnering with them so that we can make the program free for all veterans. So that's a fantastic development that took place just about a month or two ago. And James Benway, who is the CEO and founder of Subvet Heroes Foundation, is essentially working out the details so that we can actually start, just saying it, because it would be a major game changer in our current reality. Because if veterans can also take the paid portion and get a free and get reimbursed for it, that means we have an infinite potential at that point.
Right.
His organization is getting money from corporations. He's doing a lot of fundraising, and so it may not necessarily be unlimited. So I just have to sync up with him again, because I'm waiting for the details. But there is a bunch of good things, a bunch of organizations that are out there figuring out ways to create frameworks, even if they are not directly to support veterans, but to help other organizations that are helping veterans. So it's just me maybe, or me not knowing where to look, right? But there is a lot of opportunities. So what I'm doing now is reaching out to people who work for all of these organizations on LinkedIn, and I connect them and I chat with them, and that's how I essentially meet everyone. But I understand, but I understand there are other ways to go and email, calling military bases, because they are all on LinkedIn anyways. So I thought that just going out and targeting everyone, I was going to and it worked in a lot of respects. So, but I know I need to up my game in that perspective, because we're also barely starting marketing this week. The first time, the first time we actually have a full-blown marketing campaign, and it's not even fully blown yet, because we are still finding our frequency in terms of our messaging, the kind of ads that is going to be catchy and get a veteran to actually pay attention and read and realize that there is something different that is being offered that they may at least want to check out, right? And so
Right.
that's the challenge, and marketing is something that I've never liked, but the more I find myself in these challenges, the more I sort of find ways to enjoy it, because it's just wording and understanding, and it's simple but complicated. So it's interesting, and that's what we are essentially doing now, figuring out.
I think marketing is the branding. Making your brand is probably the hardest thing of any
Oh yeah,
venture. I mean, you can have all your passion, you
yeah,
can have your vision, but getting it to resonate to everyone else is much harder than we believe as ourselves, because it's something you love, but will veteran walking down the street say, "Oh, that's the message I want," or "No, I don't like it." But there's people out there that can help you. I can send you. I'll send you a guy's name who does marketing and story branding and stuff like that. If you want to talk to him
is it
after
veteran?
this, he's a
Yeah, that's
veteran, yes,
great, because that's exactly what we need.
and he's not.
Because right now,
He's up there
excuse me.
too. He's up in your area too. I think he's in Northern Virginia there.
Because I'm in Maryland.
Yeah,
So that's great. Yeah, we can do that. So, and he's doing marketing.
Yeah, he's a story brand kind of guy. He's
Story
very
brand.
smart.
Perfect.
He'll help you out as much as
Yeah,
he
so
can.
he's familiar with Donald Miller, story brand, and
Yes,
yeah,
that's his
so
mentor.
that's that's a very very powerful asset for our company when someone understands these kind of things, and someone who is also a veteran, right? And then they can essentially just say a few things and make sure that the message is clear, because it's all about a clear messaging, right? So it's
Right.
that's the
He just retired, I think, 2 years ago as well. 2, maybe 3 years ago. Tops he retired. So he's fresh.
If you can send his LinkedIn too, because I want to see his background. So, I mean,
yeah, I'll send you his link on there too.
Great. So that's essentially like the situation, but things are great. Yeah.
Well, I think you have a great thing going, and you said you wanted to share one of your success stories on an email. If you want to do that, that's fine. We got time.
You said share a success story in the email. No, actually, it's an email.
You said you had an email of one of the people you've helped already.
It was,
a success story.
It was that email that I told you about a veteran who was a little skeptical, very positive about what we're doing and everything, but skeptical that it can actually work, because he was thinking that just because of the VA, it was impossible. That was spectacular, because he actually meant it, and the way he phrased it was interesting too. I don't have it here in front of my eyes, but it was she brought it up in the meeting, so that's why everybody was captivated by the back and forth, because there is a sense that it's not possible to recover, and that's not true. There's a lot of veterans who are essentially, accepting a life that is lower than what they want or what they deserve, because they think they cannot actually achieve something, and then they start living a life that's not fulfilling, thinking that it's because of a sacrifice, when in fact, if you even if you lose a leg, you can still have experiences that will compensate for that and give you an extra motivation to achieve something that's going to make you happier, to a point where you can actually sit in your couch one day and be glad that you actually lost the leg. That's possible. There are people who go through bad experiences and then they realize that it actually helped them see something. Like I mean, my case is the same, right? If I tell you all of the things that they put me through, you wouldn't believe it. So I'm just gonna leave it there. But the idea is that that's what gives you power. That's what gives you happiness. That's why someone said online, a good seas never made a good sailor. Like it's when there is tough things that our why is challenged, and the universe is aligning with us at that point, because that's the subconscious. That's the that power that we all have, the power of the subconscious mind. It has to be activated, and that's what keeps us strong. That's what keeps us fearless, because that's what makes us realize that we actually have something to lose. Otherwise, we just live in fear, and it's only after years of not being happy that we realize that we are not living our best life, or there is something that is missing. And that thing is something that we're taking away from ourselves 99% of the time. I'm sure, I'm just giving a number, but there's a reason why Lao Tzu, who is like the Christ of Taoism, he said, when you correct your mind, the rest of your life falls into place. That's exactly what it is. Even if bad things happen to you, if you know how to handle them, if you know how to learn how to handle them, because you may not know immediately, right? And something's going to happen, you're going to be caught off guard, you're going to be in pain, but then what do? And the thing that the thing that you should do is going to be the thing that's least obvious, or the thing that looks like losing at first. Sometimes it's only over time that the benefit is visible. It's like an investment at a time where you're broke, or saving money at a time where you don't have money. Like it's counterintuitive sometimes, these things. And so that's what we teach. And we have examples. It's not just quotes from great people or religions, right? It's psychology, it's everyday life, it's stuff that's entertaining. We're having fun. There is like a brainstorming dashboard where everyone can go and drop any question or any idea or anything that they want talked about in the workshop, and people vote. Just like on Facebook, but it's not on Facebook. It's on a page, and then each of the workshops, we because at the same time they go through the course itself, which is a video, modules and stuff. But anyone can do that on their own time, and then post on the dashboard on their own time. But at a workshop, we essentially go over everything, all the questions, all the comments, all the ideas that anyone has, and that's also what allows for everyone to essentially learn from everyone else's experiences, without getting into any thing technical or any religion or anything ideological, right? Because that's also the idea, because everyone is going to have a different perspective at that point. When you have when you base things on everyday life, then people can go back and just use their own experiences, and that's how these experiences we can essentially align them with the things that are in the program, so that we can see in a tangible way how it actually works. That's that benefit. Awareness, right? Awareness, and then that gives you a motivation or a purpose for maintaining a certain wholeness in the way you carry yourself, because then you become aware why becoming negative is essentially diminishing it's like taking away away from your happiness in a way. And so I think
right.
These are delicate things, but very easy because, right, everyone already know who they are, or the way they are, and things like that. And so when you can see yourself through a bunch of frameworks, you essentially can see some of the habits that may not serve you, and the cost of those habits essentially. And so that's the kind of things that are also coming out of the workshops. So
see that, like I said earlier, you get a lot of good positive momentum with this, and it'd be great to see this take that next step.
So,
and like we discussed earlier, I think it's the between step is where you need to be, not at the VA, but before the soldier or sailor, Marine, airman gets out. That period right there is vital. And that'd be perfect.
Before they even get to the VA. So, and then.
Right, because once they get there, it's usually, like you said, they're already downtrodden. They've a lot of them feel defeated when they get there because now they've lost that sense of purpose that they had. And now the VA, you walk into the VA, and when you could walk into the VA, it is it's like walking into a horror movie sometimes. People just walking around like they're zoned out on all the medications, or it's just drab and ugly in there. And you don't want to see that, so you just sort of focus on getting in and out and not asking for things that can actually help you.
That's a major challenge. And so having a program like that delivered at that time prior to that point, and you can actually train, because you also require, I think, of training, because I see a lot of ads online, because I click on a lot of veteran related things, and so all of a sudden I see a lot of ads for veterans who are filing claims at the VA and how to win a claim. And this is a language that I'm like, wait a second, why do you have to win a claim? Why do you even have to file one? You should just say, hey, I need this, and then you have it. And based on what it is, and if it's service related, of course, but the idea of a claim where, there is going to be now, of course, also, I'm pretty sure there are people that are going to ask for things that may not necessarily, I don't know. So I don't have the data. So that's also why I stay away from even criticizing the VA or anything, because it's probably not an easy task, right? Since there are so many things, things that someone in that transition.
There's a lot of moving parts of the VA, and that causes a lot of the issue of the many different branches of the VA. And then, like you just said, you don't know which person is trying to get something that they really don't deserve or don't require. And that fouls it up for those who do need that service or do need that object or thing to help them in life. So that's why a lot of things get slowed down. But the VA, they're trying. They're trying their hardest right now to revamp it. Hopefully, in this lifetime, I see it happen. So why don't you give a plug for your website and tell people how to find you on all the socials, and that way they can reach out and grab you.
Yeah. So, was that a question?
Yeah, I want you to just tell people how to get in contact with you.
Yeah, our website, faithsmagnet.com. I'm sorry, there's an S. It's not Faithsmagnet, it's faithsmagnet.com. And on our website, if you are a veteran and you want a free mental tap session, which includes the MSY, which is that tool that I was mentioning earlier, that can help you essentially assess aspects of your mindset after you transition, and make sure that you zoom in on your needs first, and make sure that you can essentially be aware of how some of your needs that were taken care of by the military when you were in the military, you now need to focus on them, because they are the most important, that are crucial, in my opinion, to see as a whole, because otherwise you can essentially put more emphasis on job change when in fact it's in your relationships that you may have the stronger needs at that time, and it's just important to be able to see all of these pieces together at a stage like that. And so the MSY can help you achieve that. And there are other tools also that are free. And so you can click on that green button. That's a free session. It's essentially a mental tap session where you'll be speaking with Rayla. She is going to explain how the whole thing works, and it's a great value, and it's also free. But she's going to share the details of the full program as well, if you are interested in participating in the 3-month program. It's just one class a week if you go on a weekly program, or one class a month if you're going on a monthly program. Essentially, these are the two options for the paid offer that comes with the course and such. And so that's the way to learn more and access the free content or the free portion of our program, because we actually have a free mental tap, which is a shortened version of the whole program in 3 or 4 webinars and workshops that if you are interested, we can actually send it to you by emails along with links and tools and things like that. So that's a free offer. That's actually our free offer. So, and all of that can be accessed through our website, faithsmagnet.com. And if you want to reach out to me directly, you can just email me at gerard@faithsmagnet.com. And so.
Well, thanks for being on with the Misfit Nation today, Gerard, and I hope I can find you some links to help you get this moving forward. If not, I'll get you pointed in the right direction. Is there any parting words today?
That's great, Rich. Thanks for the time, and it was a pleasure chatting with you today.
The pleasure is all mine, and I look forward to hearing from you again in the future.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Well, that is another great episode. Be sure to check out Gerard's work on Faithsmagnet.com. That's Faiths magnet.com. Sign up for their free program and see what is right for you based upon it. Thanks, Gerard, for being on. On our next episode, we will talk to a couple of veteran business owners to see what the challenges they had and what they have to offer with their business. So look out for that. As always, thanks for taking some of your time to spend with us on the Misfit Nation. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and share the link as much as possible. We appreciate you. Till the next time, as always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling. We are the Misfit Nation.